Have we become just such a mean, like, people? and like you just talking about, your piece is welcome to the GOP's fear parade. And again, just fear-mongering, dividing, same stuff we're used to. But I was saying when Rosie O'Donnell's daughter's missing, just all this stuff, you know, on, oh, you like to be her, who'd like to have her as a mother, and just stuff that's really, and then we were saying the whole thing about, you know, Donald Trump calling her a fat slob and a disgusting animal, and people laughing or cheering as if that's okay, if it was just Rosie O'Donnell he said that about, right?
Right, and Rosie even said, I think she tweeted, how do you explain that to your daughter? Like that comment right there on live TV, and this huge debate that 24 million people are watching. I think we're losing something. I'm not going to say our soul. Maybe we've been so subjected to reality shows and this kind of snarkiness and meanness online.
Right, and isn't it all coming to a horrible orange head in Donald Trump? It really is. Like, you're right. It's just we're getting dumber and louder and meaner, and Donald Trump is like I guess we built this, right?
Yeah, we did.
Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with her.
Yes, that's his job.
No, I think we have, in a way, the Frankenstein has been built by us collectively. Certainly the right from a political point of view, but our love of celebrity fuels Donald Trump. I mean, we can't get away from that. And last night I was watching, he gave a speech, and they were playing it on everywhere, MS and CNN, and after a few minutes, I'm like, I feel like I'm watching a snuff film. Like, I'm complicit in the crime by watching it. And I turned the channel. I'm like, I'm not going to watch him anymore.
Dean, that's what I said. I swear to God, I had been having some insomnia, so I slept like a log, and I woke up, and I swear to God, I'd had a nightmare. I'm like, is he president? Like, it's like, you know, when you sleep so hard, you're not sure. Because I went to bed with him on TV. He was on all night. Yeah. Like, they're covering him like he's president already. Every time he holds a press conference, he's throwing reporters out and as if he's king or something.
He gave a speech yesterday, just a rally. Yeah. They covered it live on 2 of the 3 channels. Fox News, I went to them. They weren't covering it as much, which is kind of interesting. But no other, Jeb Bush doesn't get that coverage. Scott Walker, Carly Fiorina, no one else on the right does. And there was a study I just saw that Brian Stelter from CNN talked about. Since the GOP debate, the networks, cable and networks, have covered Trump more than all the other 16 candidates on the Republican side combined.
Right.
So they're fueling it. It's sort of self-fulfilling. They know he gets ratings. They know his stories get clicks.
Oh, my God. Don't you feel like you're watching a show? Who's his new Iowa campaign chair? That he used to be Rick Perry's guy, which that cracked me up. Because that guy said, you know, he would be Rick Perry's wingman. He would fly into the gates of hell with him. And then he's like, oh, he stopped paying? Okay, I'm with Trump. Trump's got money. And he's like,
we're moving.
But it's like a show. Trump brings him on stage, and did you see it, Chris? Oh my God, it was hilarious. First of all, he's like Jabba the Hutt. He's huge, and he's really breathy. Like he's like, why don't we just have him come up and talk? And he's like, he's not even gonna make it to the Iowa caucus. But
Trump yesterday had a reporter thrown out, then brought him back just to fight with him.
Yes.
You know, for the man from Univision.
Right.
And
Jorge Ramos.
Exactly. And then some of his speech, it goes in this bizarre, meandering thing where we're getting to see Trump in a ways I've never seen, less little doses, but bigger doses. And I'm like, there's something wrong here now. I'm really at the point where there's something wrong with us. There's something wrong with the Republicans for gravitating towards him. And I know that they want someone outside of politics, because on a truly serious political note, the latest poll in South Carolina came out, and he's winning, of course. But when you add up him, Ben Carson, and Carly Fiorina, that comes out to 51% of the Republicans voting for those 3. All 3 are non-elected officials, non-politicians.
Yeah.
So
there's some serious, like, and it's not even, independent. It's like anarchic, anarchy kind of like stuff going on right now.
They want someone outside, not only out of Washington, out of the universe. They want someone out of the planet.
Yes.
They want someone who's
from a different
served in elected office before, and they really hate the system. And the weirdest thing is, every now and then, Trump stumbles upon something that even progressives will be like, yeah, he'll talk about big money in politics. I'm like, yeah, you're right. That is I hate it. And it's making me feel like my vote means nothing, because some billionaire can give $1 million or $10 million to a super PAC. Who are you going to listen to on issues? I understand that. So every now and then he hits on that, and I feel dirty. I'm like, oh,
right. I know. Well, but your piece, Dean, I think is great, because this is the problem. Is like, because Trump's overshadowing everything, he's also overshadowing how horrible and extreme the rest of the pack is as well. I mean, because everyone's I mean, it really is a battle to say something even more outrageous and offensive. You said if you're looking for a common theme among some of the loudest voices in the 2016 GOP presidential race, it would have to be described as be afraid, be very afraid. You say Donald Trump wants you to be afraid of Mexican immigrants who want to take your job or worse, rape you. He did that again, you were saying, at his rallies about illegal aliens or torturing, raping, and killing Americans. Ted Cruz wants you to be afraid of gays.
That before, like, he actually used the word tortured. He's like, they're coming to our country and torturing and raping and killing Americans. And I'm like, and he'll pick one case of some place, which I should Google the person's name, perhaps that with the facts. He'll use one incident to define an entire group of people. And he knows he's stoking the flames of distrust and fear versus all Latinos. Because anyone that hears someone with a Latino accent and go, oh, maybe they're not here legally now. You know, maybe they're not as American as me because of that. Maybe their children shouldn't be in this country.
Yeah.
He knows he's stoking that. And they'll be, I love Mexicans. You know,
I mean, look, I always say that, a lot of people ask me, what was the turning point for you? And I always say Pat Buchanan's speech in terms of, becoming a liberal, even though I came from a Republican family going, oh my God, this is not my dad's party. Yeah. When did they get so mean? Oh my God. This is mean times 10 to the 10th power on crack. I mean, you were saying, so it's not just Donald Trump with, Mexicans. You're saying Ted Cruz wants you to be frightened of gay marriage because he views it as the greatest threat to religious liberty. He's actually used the word jihad. The gay community has a jihad against people of faith. You said Ben Carson warning that the Obama administration is using instruments of government like the IRS to punish its opponents like Nazis. He's saying Obamacare is worse than slavery. I mean, it's a race to the bottom of hyperbole.
That's right.
Right. When Ted Cruz says like a term that the gay activists are like jihadis, he's doing it to get press. He's also stoking real flames of hate by saying, and he's saying it's gays want to attack Christians. When you use a term like jihadi and you're trying to say they're a holy war and it's barbaric and you're trying to kill people, he's actually saying gay people want to kill Christians, their beliefs, or even them. And that's horrible. That leads to violence. We know these words lead somewhere. Ben Carson stuff, while it's off the charts, it's just rhetoric, saying things like the Obamacare is like the Nazis or slavery. It's misplaced rhetoric, but at least it's not demonizing a specific group. It's about a policy, and I understand, Carson. Then you have Bobby Jindal,
look at what Donald Trump's like doing to Megyn Kelly. It's just, it has this feeling of an angry mob, like mob justice, and then he retweets people calling her a bimbo, and it's so ugly. I mean, and you even you talk about Bobby Jindal talking about Muslim immigrants that want to invade America. Mike Huckabee, as you said, the Iran deal is going to lead Israelis to the door of the oven. I mean, it goes on and on, right? I mean, Ted Cruz saying the Obama administration is the lead sponsor of terrorism in the world. I mean, it's just like there is nothing too awful to say, right?
There's no responsibility any longer. There's no sense of like, hey, this is fun. I think Trump's opened the doors for them to be the person they really want to be deep down. I think deep down, he's letting everyone go, I'm not going to be contained by political correctness. Well, fine. Say whatever you want, but don't be surprised when you get fired from your job. Because I wrote an article today about Kurt Schilling, not to change the topic at all, but just to make a point. Kurt Schilling did this horrible tweet about Muslims yesterday.
That's right.
A baseball player. And ESPN immediately suspended him, like within an hour.
Yeah.
And Schilling actually then apologized and everything, and he goes, I accept my suspension. I was wrong. The reality is that Donald Trump can say whatever he wants. These political people can. You can't. If you have a boss, you can be fired for any reason except for race or religion. If you say something hateful about blacks, gays, Muslims, Jews, whatever, your boss can fire you. You can complain all day about political correctness run amok while you're collecting unemployment, because that's where you're going to be, folks. So he's emboldening people to say horrible things like
all these people coming out of these rallies, Dean, going, oh, he tells it like it is. It's refreshing. Well, if you're a sexist, racist, horrible, person, sure.
This is what I think. I'm like, how long till he says the N-word then? Let's be honest. I mean, that's where we're going. Not that Trump is a hardcore racist. I think that he's got some racist issues. The birther stuff, certainly we haven't forgotten about it, but the media has. It's gotten why, that transcended. Is there a legitimate issue with President Obama where he was born? It got right into racism. Like, I want to see high school records and then college records. How did he get into college? Like, the black man can't get into an Ivy League school.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, I mean, your larger point in this piece is great. It's just you say the candidates are clearly playing to the primal fears that some conservatives have over changing demographics, gay marriage, immigrants, and the like. The strategies that you say, it's not only wrong-headed, it's dangerously un-American. They're leading, when leading politicians are demonizing minority groups, you say it may embolden others to join behind the hateful chorus. That's what I mean about it feels like an angry mob. And and you said, look at these two brothers in Boston. They assaulted a Latino homeless man and then told the police Donald Trump was right. All these illegals need to be deported. I mean, if you don't think that kind of rhetoric leads to violence, eventually, you know.
And I had another paragraph, but they had to cut the article for length. In a way, I went through the Civil Rights Act, and it kind of went slightly afield from the theme of this. But in the Civil Rights Movement in the 60s, there was a definite connection by so many social scientists showing the rhetoric, the scary rhetoric of George Wallace and these conservative Democrats, and they were Democrats, but they were conservative, against blacks and violence against the black community. You know, George Wallace would make a speech, and there was a bombing a few days later against a black activist or even a white supporter. You know, they called Birmingham Bombingham, Alabama, because there were so many bombings going on, and there was a definite connection between the crazy rhetoric, fear-mongering that black people want to take over this country, and they're trying to get you take your jobs or get your women, and actual physical attacks and murders of black people in the South.
Dean, I just quoted one of the people coming out of the Alabama rally as saying he's great, he's refreshing, he's like George Wallace. He meant that in a good way.
Yeah.
I meant that in a good way, of course. I'm talking about, you know, like this. It's going to look in America. Maybe we didn't want to think about this. I've known this because of the anti-Muslim stuff I dealt with. There is a seedy underbelly to this nation of people who really truly feel that people of different colors or religious, sexual orientations, religions, want to take over this country, and they have to be stopped. And they're going to use rhetoric for so long. And at some point, some people are going to be inspired. I'm not trying to scare people, but inspired to go beyond rhetoric, and they're going to commit acts of violence.
Is there someone to say, at long last, have you no decency? I mean, you say they keep saying they're the party of Lincoln, and you said in his inaugural, Lincoln said he tried to bridge the divide by famously appealing to the better angels of our nature. I mean, this party is the exact opposite, right?
It is. That's my point. 155 years ago, Lincoln said that, and they should learn from their party's first Republican president ever and go with that, as opposed to we're going into like a dark area, and people don't want to talk about this stuff, but we're going to. Something's going to happen.
They're appealing to our worst instincts, not our. I mean, that's exactly what it is. You want to yell the N-word, don't you? Don't you hate this president? I mean, that's what it is.
In 2008, I don't care what people think about President Obama now. I'm sure you have a lot of supporters, but some critics too. But he definitely appealed to our better angels in 2008. That was what his campaign was about, in a reflection, actually in contrast to Bush's fear campaign for so many years post 9/11.
Right, and Dean, you know how we talk about, has there been an even more racist backlash to there being a first president? Look what they're already doing to Hillary. Look what they're doing to Megyn Kelly. I mean, imagine how unbridled the sexism is going to be. You know,
sexism in America, it's absolutely true, and I wonder, even some liberals who say problems with Hillary, deep down, it's almost like they sort of, the expression, the unconscious bias. Like they're not sexist at all in any conversation, but deep down, something troubles them about a woman being present.
Right, it's a standard that no man is held to.